Welcome back, friends. It is Market Mondays on Evolve or Die. Um, we're just going to start the week off with some important dates, some important earnings, some important data that's coming out this week, and what we can expect in terms of market sentiment because of the data that's coming out this week. And we'll kind of get right into it. But first, I do want to introduce the book of the week. This is Peter Thiel's 0 to 1. It is an amazing read. This is my second time reading it. It's very philosophical, very inspirational and motivational in terms of mindset and perspective. I highly recommend it for anyone with an entrepreneurial spirit, anyone that wants to create a company. They have a vision, but may not be clear on how to execute that vision. This is a really great read. It's very insightful. Peter Thiel is a very interesting person, and he is the founder of Palantir, one of my highest conviction companies for the long term. So we're not going to get too much into Palantir today, but we will definitely talk about some important dates. I'll leave a link to my video and my deep dive analysis into Palantir below, and you guys can check that out. But yeah, let's get right into it. What can we expect this week? We have a lot of good stuff coming out this week. Well, not good in terms of sentiment, but important data relatively. So we're going to see a lot of different big banks earnings. We're going to see CPI data coming out this week, and we'll see some retail sales data. Friday, there was a higher than expected jobs report, and this might prompt the Federal Reserve to continue on their aggressive tightening streak and tapering. The Dow gained 2% last week, and S&P is up 1.5%. NASDAQ up 0.75%. Treasury yields are also up, and oil prices are expected to increase because of those slashing of oil productions. It looks like they're slashing production to about 2 million barrels a day. That's how much they'll be cutting the production by to facilitate price increases. So I made a video about this that I'm going to upload in a little bit, but essentially OPEC has taken these measures because of the downward pressure that has been pushing gas prices down. So our strategic reserves are almost empty in the United States. And that is because the Biden administration has been basically taking every effort that they can, every measure that they can to keep gas prices low. And the situation that we're in now is that supply is also very low. So what we're seeing OPEC doing is slashing the supply, increasing demand, and in turn, that's going to increase the price. But we're going to see some corporate earnings this week. We have several big banks. We have JP Morgan Chase, we have Morgan Stanley, we have BlackRock. We have a lot of big banks reporting earnings this week. We have some earnings coming out from the Taiwan semiconductor companies. We have Pepsi, Delta, United Health. We will see CPI data coming out this week as well. And let me get you guys some dates, as this is all very important. So on Wednesday, you'll see Pepsi earnings. You'll see producer price index measures of inflation, which is going to, again, just kind of like the purchasing managers index, show you what inflation is looking like in terms of their expectations on the supply side. We do have the FOMC meeting minutes that's happening on Wednesday. And these will be these minutes from the September 2021 meeting. So we do know that the FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee, consists of 12 members. 7 members are the governors of the Federal Reserve. And essentially what they do is just facilitate monetary policy. They are the group that is focused on monetary policy and unemployment. and with a key focus on monetary supply. So they do have their meeting minutes that they'll go over on Wednesday, release that info to the public. Thursday on the 13th, we have Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Walgreens, and Delta earnings, and we also have CPI data. So I would definitely keep an eye on the markets on Thursday if you are if you have like negative sentiment, if you are a swing trader, puts puts on everything might be the way to go. Friday we have United Health Group, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, PNC Financial, and US Bank Corp, and First Republic Bank reporting earnings. And we'll also have retail sales earnings as well as business inventories readings from August. And we'll also have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index being released. So there's a lot of stuff going on this week. We are seeing shares of banks and other financial firms. In theory, they should be reacting well to the interest rate hikes and higher interest rate income. But a lot of analysts, and I did talk about this in my last video, because of the federal funds rates increasing, meaning the rate at which banks borrow from each other is getting more expensive. So a lot of analysts are projecting that the finance sector is going to fall by roughly 13% on average this quarter. And they're taking this info into consideration because of the negative impact we've seen because of the slowing down of investment banking and lower refinancing demand for mortgages. Consumer loans and interest rates are through the roof, and financial sector stocks have fallen just under 20% this year to date. Inflation reports. So on Wednesday, we'll see the price producer index, and we'll also see how this info has been tracking inflation from, like we said, the producer side. So producer prices are going up, like we've talked about many times. The input material costs are increasing, which makes everything more expensive. So just a lot of important dates for the week, a lot of important data coming down. Like I said, I am getting my wisdom teeth pulled out today, so I try to always accumulate this data for you guys and keep up with, what's happening and share my analysis. And a lot of people ask, like, why do I do this? Why do I do it? I like to do it. This is what I do in my free time. I like to research things. I like to be very informed. I like to understand on a very deep level how all of the interconnected macro elements affect our policy, our legislation, how it affects the markets, how it affects our daily lives, how it affects consumer sentiment, right? So I'm just here because I like to absorb data, and that's just what I like to do. And yeah, I like everyone around me to be informed as well. So until next time, friends, we have a lot of good stuff coming out this week in terms of insight for the future. So we're going to see the banking sector. I know that a lot of companies are going to miss earnings. Debt is expensive right now, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But until next time, friends.